Hi, and welcome back to Rain or Shine Gardening. I'm Katie, and today I am here in my working garden on the side of my house with a bunch of things that I need to get in the ground. I have accumulated, I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but I've accumulated quite a few things, and we do have some frozen mornings on our forecast. I am here in the Portland area, which is Zone 8B. And although we don't deal with getting frozen and staying frozen for extended periods of time over the winter, we do go below freezing, sometimes stay there for a few days, but we have some frosts. We just had our first frost last week, which was pretty late, I think, in the season. I don't know why it felt really late this year, but it did. Anyway, I today want to show you a few trees that I'm hoping to get in the ground. I had the opportunity of finding a really great sale at a local garden center that's called Paradise Acres. And they had this sale where it was kind of the end of the season. They're trying to clear things out from their lot. And they really passed along some great savings to us as customers. And so you could fill up a cart. It could be kind of going over the edge of the cart. You just couldn't stack things. And the whole cart would be $250. Didn't matter if it was trees, shrubs, perennials, like whatever you wanted, you could put on your cart, and it was $250. So I couldn't pass that up. We happen to have our trailer, utility trailer at the moment, and I was able to pick up some things that have been too big for me to pick up and just transport in our car otherwise. So I was really excited to get a few things, and although I'm not planting them all today, I am hoping to get 3 things in the ground. So I'm going to show you those this morning. I do have a lot of other things that I need to get planted. I did pick up this dappled willow here behind me, which I need to get planted. I have a couple saguaro cypress here too that need to get put into the ground. But today I'm focusing on these 3 trees. So the first one here has now dropped all of its leaves, but this is a Regal Prince columnar oak. And I am so excited to have this in the garden. I love oak trees. They're so beautiful. The shape of their leaves, the acorns, everything. It's really kind of magical, I think, to have in the garden. But there's no way that we could fit a full-size oak tree in our garden. Our lot is only 10,000 square feet. So we don't have a huge area just to let an oak tree grow. I think it's beautiful, but we don't have the space. So a columnar oak is really the answer here for us. And this will have beautiful green oak leaves in the summertime. It'll bring some really pretty green interest. It's going to operate as a screen for me. So recently I had a couple videos where we took out some trees in our garden. So we had a fruit salad tree that really, it wasn't the right tree for the right place. It was dealing with some disease. Some of the grafts had died out. So it just was not what we had intended it to be in that place, and we took it out. And then we had a weeping cherry that was down closer to our road in the corner of our property. And we took that out too. That was here when we moved in. The trunk was really S-shaped. It also was dealing with disease every year. It would kind of drop all of its leaves, or a lot of its leaves, during the winter. So these trees that I picked up, I'm hoping to plant in that area so that we can have something there. So this one I'm really excited for. It's going to have beautiful oak leaves, be a beautiful screen. I'll put the dimensions that it gets, the growing size, up on the screen. It doesn't list it on the tag here, but I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I will put that up on the screen for the video. And then the other 2 trees that I have, this one here is a beautiful Moonglow Juniper, and this one will get 20 feet high by 8 feet wide, so it will come out 4 feet from the base of the trunk. It will create a really great screen too. And the benefit of this is that it's that evergreen winter interest. So I'm going to still have color. And because these are going to be green leaves in the summer, then I wanted to pick up something that had that blue tone to it, but something that would also keep that color throughout the winter. So this is going to operate really well as a complement when my columnar oak doesn't have any leaves. it will still be beautiful, kind of green and blue here in the yard. So I love this Moonglow. I think it will look really beautiful. And then the other tree that I have that I want to get in the ground today is this dwarf blue Atlas cedar. And I wanted an Atlas cedar really bad for my yard, but the regular size Atlas cedars just get way too big for my yard. There's no way I could fit it in. Well, I could maybe fit it in, but then I would be limited on what else I could plant. So this was a must for me too. It's also really beautiful winter interest with the blue needles on it. It's got really interesting structural shape too. So if you notice, these are very different in their growth habit. So this is kind of an upright, kind of straighter lines pointing up, and then you'll see my Atlas cedar here is very different in structure, more distinct designed branches. This is almost like an art piece in the garden because it's so structural. It's very different than what this juniper looks like. So I didn't want to get a bunch of the same kind of things for the garden either. I wanted things that could kind of play off each other. So while these are both blue and bring in those blue tones for the garden, they're very different in their style and structure. So these are the 3 trees that I'm hoping to get in the ground today. My husband is actually going to be digging some holes for me today. I really want to get these in the ground before it gets too cold and then the ground gets more frozen and it's harder to dig holes. Or what we deal with more often than frozen ground is wet ground. So we kind of have this ideal period of time in the fall and in the spring for planting. If we plant in the summer, sometimes things struggle and can deal with shock a little bit if it's too hot. But then once our rain starts, if we wait too long to plant into the rainy season, you dig a hole and it just fills with water, or you're dealing with just mushy clay, mud when you're digging holes, and it's just not that great either. So we're kind of in this prime time right now before we get into our ground being too absolutely saturated with water, and I want to get some things planted. I want to get my holding tank of all my plants and my trees and everything reduced at least significantly before we get too far into the winter season. So I'm really happy to have picked these up. My whole cart retail was $999. But like I said, I only paid $250 for everything. It was for trees, perennials, everything. So got a really, really good deal that I couldn't pass up. So let's get some holes dug and get some things in the ground. And I will see you later when we are ready to get things planted up. All right, we got all 3 planted, and I came out on my lunch break and there were 3 huge holes dug, which was amazing. So a huge shout out to my garden assistant and husband, Justin, for digging these holes for me. It was so appreciated, and I couldn't have gotten these trees because of the hillside and how heavy they were in the ground without his help. So that was awesome. And we got these 3 planted, so you can see the Moonglow Juniper down here, the closest to me right here. This is going to be a really great shape, and I love the structure and that it brings that kind of green-blue year-round color to the front of my garden. And then you can see my dwarf blue Atlas cedar right in here. I do need to put some new mulch down. So when he was digging, he dug up a little bit of the cardboard that I had put down for weed suppression earlier in the year. And he dug up quite a few rocks from a drainage system we had previously put in along here too, and just a lot of that clay dirt. So I'm going to top dress it with some compost and make it look nice over here. But I'm really happy with having these in the ground. I really wanted to get these in the ground too because I have other things to plant, but I wanted to wait and plant those other things when I knew where my trees were going to go, because I want them to kind of be based on where the trees are. So that was really nice to get these in the ground. And we have some rain coming soon on the forecast, so I know they're going to get watered in and settled in really well. We also put biotone fertilizer from Espoma in the holes. I want to make sure that these trees have a really great chance at root development and rooting in really well. So we gave them some fertilizer when we put them in the holes. We made sure not to bury the crown of the plant, so the top of the tree is at the very top surface level of the ground, and that was a little tricky with the hillside, so we had to kind of move things around and make sure they were adjusted properly so they could do well. My drip system is a little bit ugly right now. It's just sitting on top of the surface, but kind of ignore that. Ignore the clay dirt that's dug up. We'll get that top dressed and it will look great. I might adjust these trees a little bit still because I was looking at them from a couple different angles, but not every angle. I did notice that my columnar oak that's on the left side of the screen here, so it's lost all of its leaves. It's a little hard to see. But I did notice, and you can probably see there, the top of it is quite curved. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that tree. I may try to straighten that out, or I may chop it to have it maybe not get quite as tall. These columnar oaks, even though they don't get very wide, they do get extremely tall. So maybe topping that wouldn't be the worst thing. It might try to grow a new leader. Not quite sure what to do. So let me know in the comments what you would do with a tree that is curving that much on the top of it. But I'm really happy with getting the oak placed there, and with my dwarf blue atlas cedar and my Moonglow juniper. I think they're going to be really great. I can't wait for them to grow a little bit in this area too. You can see we still have the trunk from our weeping cherry. You can see how curved the trunk was there and how unhealthy it looks. So really happy to get these trees, like I said, in the ground. So now I can start placing a couple other things that I have in my holding tank in this area, get it top dressed and get it all tucked in just in time for winter. And come spring, hopefully we'll see new growth on all of these and they will like their new placement. And before we end for the day, I wanted to show you my fourth tree that I got in the ground from my tree load. And I still have some others to plant in a future day, but I wanted to show you this one. It is the first one that I stuck in the ground after I got home. This is the one I was looking for the most. This is the area that I cut down that fruit salad tree, and it was growing here. Some of the grafts had died off. It was leaning. It was dropping fruit in my flowers. It was hard not to step on the flowers to pick the fruit. It was just not in the most ideal place. It wasn't doing well. It had some additional disease too. So I decided to cut that tree out. But I knew I wanted a tree in this area because one of my favorite things is to have this cherry tree. This is a Rainier cherry tree. To have that cherry tree come this way and have the other tree come from the other side and create this tree tunnel with my walkway here. That was one of my favorite things. And I knew I wanted to replace this tree with something else because I still want that to happen. And this is also kind of a focal point of my front garden. And I really wanted something here beautiful. So I got this Sparkling Wine Redbud to put here, and you can see some of the branch structure. It has lost all of its leaves for the winter, so it's a little hard to tell, but it has this really great branching structure, and I can't wait for it to leaf up and leaf out this spring. I can't wait for it to see the red blossoms or the pink blossoms come on in the springtime, and then to see it leaf out later in the year. But this is going to be so beautiful here. And I'll try to find a picture of a Sparkling Wine Redbud to put up on the screen. But it has really beautiful leaves. I think it had a couple when I bought it still. But anyway, I can't wait for it to leaf out and to get to see it here. As it grows, it will kind of fill in this area and we'll get that tree tunnel experience back here in my garden, which I can't wait for. It will also really be a great complement to this garden bed and a really great focal point here. So I wanted to share that with you too. So now I have 4 of my trees planted and I can't wait. Let's see, I've got at least a dappled willow to plant and a couple other cypress to plant too that I picked up on that same cartload of a deal. So that will be in a future video. And for now, rain or shine, I will see you next time.